Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of What If Qui-Gon Redeemed Vader on Mustafar. If you have not seen the previous 3 episodes, I would highly recommend watching them, because the rest of this is going to make absolutely no sense to you. Also, another thing to mention is that we are taking from both canon and legends, and that will become very apparent in this episode. There are going to be some potentially controversial choices. Potentially, I'm not sure. But hopefully you will all stick around and enjoy what is to come. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. We open with Anakin Skywalker meditating in a cave on Mustafar, as we see various Imperial construction crews working tirelessly on his new castle under Lord Momin's influence. As Anakin meditates on the dark side nexus below him, he strains under the dark power, as he tries not to succumb to its influences as he completely bathes in its power to mask himself. That is when he hears a voice coming from deeper in the cave. "Have you come here for protection or answers?" Anakin looks around in confusion as he puts a hand on his lightsaber. "Who's there?" "I am both questions and answers." Anakin nods slowly as he closes his eyes, trying to sense this figure deeper in the cave as he goes inside. As he goes further inside, he is attacked by various flame beetles and Mustafarian creatures, which he easily takes out with his new red lightsaber. As he fights this creature of sorts, still asks him questions. "Why so soon to attack? Fear? Determination? Sadism? Who are you? Why are you reaching out to me?" "Reaching out to you? Do you think I chose you specifically? Or do you think I was just waiting for somebody?" "Perhaps it was the will of the Force," Anakin retorts as he slowly moves further into the cave. The creature laughs as its voice echoes throughout the cave walls. "Why do you come for me? Is it the will of the Force, or the will of your mind?" "I want answers," Anakin announces. The figure calls out again. "You want, or you need?" "Does it matter?" "My boy, I know your wants for this place, but is it your need?" "You don't know anything about me." "The real question, my boy, is do you know yourself?" "I know who I am. Do you, boy?" "I can feel the conflict inside you radiating throughout this very cave." Anakin hesitates for a long moment as he keeps pushing forward. "I'm in a difficult position." "Difficult due to the actions of others, or are you making things more difficult for yourself?" "What do you mean by that?" "You can't protect light by overshadowing it in darkness, boy," the voice explains. "And you're hardly committed to the light yourself, am I correct?" "What does it matter to you?" "Answers, my boy. For me, and for you." Anakin turns a corner as he thrusts out his lightsaber and holds it out in front of him as he looks at the creature before him. He doesn't know what species it is. It's some sort of ancient creature that is perched calmly before Skywalker, hardly concerned with the lightsaber blade being thrusted at itself. "Who are you really? And no riddles." "I am the Eye of Webbish Bog. And you are?" "Anakin Skywalker." The Eye looks interested by Skywalker's answer. "Skywalker? Or perhaps Vader?" "No, not anymore. I defected from the Sith." "Did you now? Why serve them still?" "It's a double-agent strategy to protect others from Sidious." "Protect others? Or only those closest to you?" Anakin's hesitation to answer only confirmed the Eye's answer. "Is this plan of yours a need or a want?" "I need to destroy Sidious, whatever that costs." "To protect the Jedi or yourself?" "To protect everyone, at the cost of yourself." "What does that mean?" Ask yourself, Skywalker, would you be willing to sacrifice everything you have for everyone else? Anakin stays quiet for a long time before the eye of Webbish Bog pulls something out. A small pyramid-like object with several strange designs and lights on the inside. What is it? A map to all your answers and your fears, the eye explains. Before you leave, I ask you one question. Do you think you passed this test or failed it? Anakin looks at the eye before nodding and simply leaving with the object. We cut to Ferris Olin as he wanders through the streets of the planet Daiyu with his cloak up and his lightsaber tucked away. He avoids making any outright contact with anybody and stays mainly to himself. We see him enter a cantina as he is met by blaring music and partying as he silently scours out the cantina. He searches around many booths before he is met with a masked figure, who seems to be expecting him. You arrived. I'm in need of your master's services. She's waiting for you in the alleyway. You'd do best to keep a low profile. Ferris nods and tips the figure off with a few credits. He enters the alleyway where he sees a hooded figure waiting for him. Took you long enough. It was a long trip, Ferris snarks back. The figure chuckles as they approach closer. So you want me for a high priority target? To kill a Jedi? Well, I thought the best place to go was a Jedi killer. You came to the best one, honey. The hooded figure removes her hood, revealing the face of Aura Singh. I'm surprised the Jedi are all trying to kill each other nowadays. Ferris gives her a confused expression as Aura scoffs. You don't think I already noticed the tucked away lightsaber? So many Jedi do it nowadays. Plus I sensed your presence as soon as you showed up. Ferris nods. Well, former Jedi. Makes two of us. What's your story, ex-Jedi? Ferris sighs as he goes back to those haunting memories. When I was a Padawan, I was sent on a mission to Korriban with some other Padawans. One of the other apprentices' lightsabers was acting up, so I helped him fix it, but it broke down after I fixed it and the Padawan died because I failed to help him with his weapon. I couldn't live with myself after that, but later I got back in that mindset, and I still fought for the Republic during the Clone Wars. What about you? Went on a mission with my master, got captured by pirates. She left me to die. No point in returning to those soulless monsters. Ferris nodded as the two shared their stories. You know, I thought I heard that you were killed by some Tobias Beckett. Ugh, don't get me started on that scoundrel. Aura groaned. He hit me with a flash grenade, then pushed me off a cliff, and then went around telling everybody that he had killed me. Since then, I've been living under the radar. He did nearly take my leg, though. Aura admits as she reveals her new prosthetic brace around her right leg. But a fall from a cliff is nothing for an esteemed Jedi killer. Speaking of, you never told me which Jedi you're hiring to kill. Ferris scratched the back of his head as Aura slowly stepped towards him. Well, this Jedi is kind of high profile among Jedi. Could I make a Hollow movie about him? You could probably make 6, Ferris joked before taking a deep breath. The Jedi we're going to kill is Anakin Skywalker. Aura slapped Ferris against the face as she shouted louder than maybe she should have. You're hiring me for a suicide mission? You won't be fighting him alone. I'm going, and I have a partisan of rebels backing us up. You're building an army over this? Man, you two must have some beef. You could say that, Ferris says quietly. Aura sighs deeply. Fine, but you're doubling my pay. I think we can work that out. We cut to Padme as she sits in her apartment all alone. No husband, no children, all alone. She stares out into the night of Coruscant as she sees Imperial propaganda being put on all sorts of banners and holo images across the city's skyline. She'd rather be on Naboo with Bail and Leia, or Tatooine to see Luke. Tomorrow morning she was going to the Sand Planet to visit her son and Obi-Wan to make sure they were safe. It was difficult trying to be a mother when she was forced to keep it secret, and both of her children were on separate planets entirely. But she was their mother, and she wasn't going to let such limitations stop her. She wondered when Anakin would be returning from Mustafar. He had been gone nearly a month now, and Padme was left only to wonder what he was doing there. She decided to finally go to bed so that the morning would come faster, when suddenly there was a smashing of her glass as a hooded figure leapt in with a vibro dagger and attempted to stab her. Padme quickly threw a kick to stagger the attacking figure as she pulled out her communicator. "Bail, somebody's trying to kill me. I need help." The attacker knocked Padme in the back of the head as she staggered forward. She spun around and threw out both legs to kick the assassin before getting back to her feet. "Who are you?" The assassin recovered rather quickly as he repaired his dagger. "Well, I thought my status was enough to be recognized. Guess not. Listen here, Senator, you may have escaped fools like Gunray and Zam Wessel, but you're in the presence of Ochi of Bestoon, and nobody escapes me." Padme reacts quickly as she evades Ochi's next attack and leaps over her couch before rushing to a compartment underneath and pulling out a blaster pistol. She fired several shots, which Ochi evaded, before knocking the weapon from her hands and attempting to thrust his dagger into her. Padme responds by grabbing Ochi's arm and twisting it with all her might, as she redirects the thrust into the couch. Taking another advantage of Ochi's distraction, Padme kicked the assassin again, but to little avail as Ochi ripped out his dagger and swiped at Padme's arm, giving her a painful cut across her arm. Padme yelled out in pain before being knocked back by Ochi's follow-up kick. As Ochi moved forward, Padme simply got back up and kept fighting. She wouldn't let this assassin be the end of her. They battled for another several minutes, trading punches, kicks, and grapples, before finally Ochi took the upper hand and overpowered the highly skilled senator. He looked over her like a powerful predator as he gloated in his victory. "Looks like the legendary assassin takes his victory again." That was when the assassin found himself being thrown back by a force push, as a figure dressed in the robes of a Jedi charged at him. Ochi then found his dagger being casually yanked away as he retreated from the new Jedi. Padme looked at the hooded Jedi as he unveiled his hood. "My name is Dash Janir. I heard your distress signal." Padme smiles as Janir helps her to her feet. "Thank you, Master Jedi. I don't know why I was attacked." "We'll figure that out in due time. For now, I suggest we get back to safety." Padme nodded as the two attempted to flee the apartment once Padme gathered C-3PO and R2-D2. Once they are aboard the ship and in hyperspace, Das explains himself. "Bail got your message and sent me ahead to help you, since I was a little closer." "You joined Bail's Jedi network?" "Only a few days ago, yes," Das explained. "Captain Antilles found me on his search. I thought he was a threat, but I'm glad he wasn't. He's a good man, as is Senator Organa. He's one of my closest friends." He's a good friend to have. Come on, I'll inform him you're safe and we'll make it back to Alderaan." We cut back to Anakin Skywalker as he escapes the cave on Mustafar after speaking with the Eye of Webbish Bog. He returns to see Momin, who is ordering several Imperials to finish a part of the castle, as we see that it is the same fortress on Mustafar that Vader had in the original canon timeline. "The power of that temple could accomplish is insurmountable. The gateway could provide us with power beyond comprehension. Where have you been, Vader?" "I just had a strange run-in with some Mustafarian creature. He gave me this." Momin looks at the artifact with shock. "You found this?" "Yes. What is it exactly?" "A wayfinder," Momin whispers mainly to himself. "It's a map back home, to where so many of my best creations lie dormant." And where is home exactly? Before Momin can answer, we see several Imperials ask both Momin and Vader for instructions on some part of the castle, which distracts both of them. We cut back to Coruscant as Ochi of Bestu kneels before Palpatine, revealing everything that went down in Padme's apartment. This is most disappointing, Palpatine admits. I assumed your skills would be enough for this task. They were. I had her bested, but she had some Jedi come in and save her, by the name of Dash Janir. Interesting. Anything else to report about this Jedi? Not particularly, but before I attacked, Amidala sent out a distress signal to a man named Organa. Interesting, Palpatine said with a pleased expression. You are dismissed, assassin. I have a call I must make. We cut back to Mustafar as Anakin receives a holo communication from Darth Sidious. Anakin activates it to see Sidious with a saddened expression on his face. My dear friend, you have been greatly hurt today. What is it, Master? Senator Amidala. She was murdered just a few hours ago. Anakin's world shatters around him as he clenches his fists and his eyes flicker in shades. No, she was alive. I felt it. She was just killed recently by some Jedi named Das Jinir. He knew about your marriage and wanted revenge on you for your attack on the temple. Anakin begins to ignite with rage as his very power begins to summon storms of lightning, and Mustafarians and Imperials begin grabbing for their throats as Anakin screams to the sky with pure rage, causing a small earthquake in the process, as we get a look at Sidious's face, who is smiling gleefully to himself as he relishes in Vader's newfound anger. I'm so sorry, my friend, he finishes before ending his transmission and leaving Vader to his rage as he goes to his starship. Vader, where are you headed? Momin asks. I have a new mission, Anakin says coldly as he leaves Mustafar in his ship. Momin watches him leave before noticing the Sith Wayfinder on the ground. As he picks it up and through the mask, we can see that he is very happy to have this in his hands, as his new adventure has just begun.